Hi guys, good morning. Today I will discuss the chapter of punctuation in English grammar. Punctuation, which includes comma, colon, semicolon, double inverted comma, single inverted comma, etc. So, before starting the chapter of punctuation, I want to discuss some of the sentences where we can use a comma. So, first of all, in English grammar, there are three types of sentences. As we have already told you in the previous lectures, there are three types of sentences. First is simple sentence, other is compound sentence, and third one is complex sentence. So, in case of simple sentences, we doesn't need a comma because simple sentence it is in the form of principal clause, so we cannot use a comma. So in case of compound sentences and complex sentences, we use a comma because here two sentences, either one is a sentence of principal clause and another is the sentence of subordinate clause. Or in case of two principal clauses, when we use a conjunction to connect these two sentences, then we would have to use a comma before the conjunction. But remember, it is applicable only in case of principal clause, two sentences of principal clauses. But in case of when a principal clause sentence is supposed to be connected with a subordinate clause sentence, then we cannot use a comma before a subordinating conjunction in the sentence. We can use a comma only when two sentences of principal clauses are supposed to be connected by the use of a conjunction. So we can use a comma before the use of a conjunction in the sentence. Otherwise, we cannot use a comma. Apart from this, if the sentence is supposed to be started from a sentence of subordinate clause and subordinate clause sentence is supposed to connect a principal clause sentence, then we cannot use we can use a comma in this sentence. Otherwise, we cannot use a comma in case of principal clause sentence when it is supposed to be connected with a subordinate clause sentence. So I want to focus on those facts where we can use a comma in a sentence. First of all, the use of comma is necessary. It is the universal fact because if we use a comma, it means here we find a type of pause, break. Anywhere in a sentence, if we find a type of comma, if we find a type of break or pause, there we can use a comma. If the sentence flows in its own wake, we cannot use comma there. If we talk about punctuation marks in our daily routine, when we speak any type of language, either English or Hindi or Marathi, then we cannot use punctuation marks because here our body language, our sequence of speaking indicates the meaning of language which a person is supposed to speak. So in at the time of speaking a language, we don't need any type of punctuation mark. But if we write anything, we would have to use punctuation marks in the sentence to clarify a sentence. If we don't use punctuation mark English in written English, then it would be very difficult for another person to understand what the first person has written in a sentence. So it is compulsory for us to apply punctuation marks in English just in order to bring a clarity in the sentence. So in English grammar, punctuation marks always used just in order to bring clarity in the sentence. Otherwise, a sentence cannot give a clear meaning. So we can say that the use of punctuation marks, in simple terms, we can say that the use of punctuation marks in English grammar brings clarity in the sentence. It helps us to understand a sentence clearly. Otherwise, we cannot understand what has been written. So we use punctuation marks just in order to bring clarity in the sentence. And comma is also a punctuation mark which is used everywhere. Almost the use of comma is very high level because it is often used in every sentence. We can use comma where we need, and our need arises from those facts when a pause, a break is found in a sentence. Then we can use a comma there. First of all, I want to discuss where we can use a comma or where we can not use a comma in the sentence. In case of comma, first of all, a simple sentence doesn't require any type of comma. A compound sentence and a complex sentence require comma according to their uses. Remember, if two sentences of principal clauses are supposed to be connected by the use of conjunction, then it is necessary to apply comma before the use of conjunction in the sentence. If one sentence is of principal clause and another sentence is of subordinate clause, if both are supposed to be connected by the use of subordinating conjunction, then we cannot apply a comma before subordinating conjunction in the sentence. Subordinating conjunction, when it is supposed to be to connect two clauses, it doesn't need a comma. If in case of a complex sentence, when the sentence is supposed to be started with a subordinate clause sentence, with a sentence of subordinate clause, then it is necessary to apply a comma after the end of subordinate clause. But in case of principal clause sentence, when a sentence is supposed to start from a sentence of principal clause, then it is not necessary to use a comma before before subordinating conjunction in the sentence. We cannot apply comma there. So remember, when two sentences of principal clause are supposed to be connected with each other by the use of a conjunction in the sentence, then we can apply a comma before the coordinating conjunction. But in case of subordinating clause, when a sentence is supposed to start with a sentence of principal clause, and next sentence is of subordinating clause, and both are supposed to be connected with subordinating conjunction, here we cannot use a comma before subordinating conjunction in the sentence. So comma is necessary when two sentences of principal clause are supposed to be connected by the use of conjunction. So there we can use a comma in the sentence. Otherwise we cannot use a comma. Next, when we categorize things or when we enlist things, there we can use a comma. If I say Ram, Mohan, Sita all went to school, here we can apply a comma after Ram, after Mohan, after Sita. After Sita we cannot apply a comma because it is the last one is supposed to be very near with a verb, near to a verb, so we cannot apply a comma here. Only Ram, comma Sita, comma Mohan. After Mohan we cannot apply a comma because after Mohan our verb is supposed to come, so we cannot use comma here. So if I say Ram and Mohan went to school, here after Ram and before and, either we can apply a comma or we cannot apply a comma. It depends upon our will. This is called Oxford comma. If we are using a comma, it would be called an Oxford comma. Oxford comma is not important. It depends on the constituency. It depends on the continuity. If we use Oxford comma in everywhere at everywhere, then we can use Oxford comma. Otherwise, we cannot use an Oxford comma in a sentence. So let me see what is remaining part of punctuation mark in case of comma. So remember, all the coordinating conjunctions require the use of comma before them. And there are 5 types of coordinating conjunctions as fine boys. F stands for, F, after F, A stands for and, N stands for nor, O stands for or, Y stands for yet, S stands for so. So these are the structure of fine voice. So it is easy to remember the sequence of coordinating conjunction in English grammar by the use of fine voice. But all the subordinating conjunctions don't require comma if they fall at the middle of the sentence. They don't require comma. Apart from this, we use comma when we separate reporting verb from reported speech. Here we use a comma. If I say, he told me, after me we can apply a comma. We would have to apply a comma here to separate both sentences. First is reporting verb and other is reported speech. So to separate reporting verb from the reported speech, in order to separate both of them, we use a comma between them. In simple terms, we can say that to separate reporting verb from the reported speech, we use a comma there. If reported speech falls at the very beginning of the sentence, then it is necessary to use a comma after it to connect both the sentences. First is the sentence of reporting verb and other is the sentence of reported speech. So in order to connect both sentences, we use a comma there. Apart from this, as for example, I'm exhausted. It is the speech of other person. So remember, the speech of other people, the speech of second person, third person cannot be written alone. They would require double inverted comma. Speech of any person is supposed to be written within the double inverted comma in English grammar. A person's speech cannot be written without double inverted comma in English grammar. So we apply double inverted commas in order to keep others' speech separate from the reporting verb. Next, we are going to take semicolon. What is semicolon? Semicolon half comma and half colon. This is the mark. Half comma and half colon. Half comma and half colon, the unity is supposed to be as a semicolon. So students often get confused where we can use a semicolon or where we can use a comma. Both work as same. There is a minor difference between both of them. So if we talk about the differences between both of them, comma can be used before a coordinating conjunction in the sentence. When two sentences of principal clauses are supposed to be connected by the use of a coordinating conjunction, we use comma there. But if two sentences of principal clause are supposed to be connected without the use of coordinating conjunction, then we can use a semicolon there. When we use semicolon, there we cannot use coordinating conjunction in the sentence. And colons are necessary where first sentence of principal clause and the second sentence of principal clause are closely related to each other. Otherwise, we cannot use a semicolon. So, it is very important to focus on those facts that if two sentences of principal clauses are supposed to be connected with each other and one shows its relation with other sentence, then we can use a semicolon there. Apart from this, as for example, I really don't like dessert, semicolon. I prefer savory food. Here, there are two types of sentence. First is principal clause, and another is two principal clause. But the subject used in both the sentences are same. I do not like dessert. I like savory food. Here, same subject has been used in both the sentences. So, first sentence shows its relation with the next sentence. And both sentences are of principal clause. So, here we can apply a semicolon. We cannot use coordinating conjunction here. So, we can say that when two sentences of principal clause are supposed to be connected with each other and both are related to each other, then we can use there a semicolon, not a coordinating conjunction. We cannot use coordinating conjunction there because both the sentences are connected with each other. And the subject of both the sentences are same. So we can apply there a semicolon. Next. For next example, mom has gone shopping. Dad is still at work. Mom has gone shopping. Dad is still at work. Here, although subjects are different, mom and dad, but both the subjects are related to each other. So we can use a semicolon here. We cannot use coordinating conjunction with the use of comma here. Only we can use colon. Next, when we use conjunctive adverbs in sentences, conjunctive adverbs are used when two sentences of principal clauses are closely related to each other There we can apply conjunctive adverb. Conjunctive adverb refers to as moreover, however, nevertheless. These are the conjunctive adverbs. And when we use conjunctive adverbs in a sentence, then we apply semicolon. For example, if I say, I can come to your party tomorrow. I can come to your party tomorrow. Now, here we can use semicolon. I can come to your party tomorrow, semicolon. However, after it we can use a comma. However, I will arrive late. Here we are applying semicolon and next a comma. The use of semicolon here refers to the relation of one sentence to another sentence. I will come to the party. I will come to the party. Semicolon. However, I will come late. Both the sentences are showing their relation to each other because the subjects are same. I falls in the first sentence and I falls in the next sentence. So both are connected with each other because subjects are same. So here we apply a semicolon, and if I applied a conjunctive adverb after semicolon, we apply conjunctive adverb however. After however, a pause comes, and I have already told you, if a break comes in a sentence, we can apply a comma there just in order to separate both of them. So here we can use a comma. Next, example, he was very tired. Nevertheless, he went on walking. In this sentence, he was very tired, semicolon, nevertheless, comma, he went on walking. Here too, the subjects are same and both the sentences show their relation to each other. This is why here we are using a semicolon, and the use of conjunctive adverbs, apply a comma just after it. So we are going to ahead. In case of when there are two different type of subjects in the sentence, what can we use there? It is the question. When in a sentence, when there are two sentences of principal clauses and both the sentences keep their different subjects, not the same subject, different subjects, then what can we do? So we can apply a semicolon there. just in order to separate both the sentences. And if we use a semicolon, in the sentence, it means both are categorized and both are different from each other. So I would have to end the class now. I would continue the class in the next video. Thank you.